Good morning, Minnesota. Welcome to the May edition of our SSIS statewide release version 25.2 Coffee Talk. I am Ross Stack. I will be your host today. I am an e-learning instructional designer with the Learning and Development arm of the SSIS User Support in the Business Integrations Division of DCYF. So let's go ahead and get started with today's agenda. We have welcome and introductions. Folks will introduce themselves at the beginning of their presentation today. We have housekeeping and Tennyson warning. We have some announcements. We have the release information. And then we'll talk about your SSIS resources and closing announcements. Attendees have been muted upon entry. To speak, please raise your hand and use the reaction emoji at the bottom of your screen, and you will be unmuted by our panelists. Questions can also be submitted using chat, which will be monitored by our SSIS Business Ops staff. Closed captioning can be enabled using the CC button located on the bottom left of your screen. This session is being recorded and will be posted on the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy website in the near future. A follow-up document will be prepared and distributed to attendees 7 to 10 days following this WebEx event. This is the Tennyson warning. We need to show you this to let you know that this is going to be recorded. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to read this over and we will continue. Hopefully that was enough time for you to read over the Tennyson warning. So we will get started, and we'll start it out with, I believe, Cassie and our pilot agencies.
Good morning, everybody. This is Cassie from the Tier 1 Help Desk, and I just wanted to give a shout out to our pilot agency. So from the SSIS team and our Minute partners, I'd really like to say thank you and express our gratitude to our agencies who really stepped up to pilot this release. Your dedication to testing and reporting all of the curveballs that SSIS really throws your way, it really ensures that we can make our statewide releases as painless as possible. So to Aiken, Benton, and St. Louis counties, it's been a pleasure to work with you. So thank you very much. So to all of the other agencies, if you're interested in participating in a pilot in the future, or if you're curious or have any questions about the process, shoot me an email. My email address is listed on the slide. And reach out if you have any questions, or you can shoot an email to the help desk. Thanks.
Thanks, Cassie, and thank you, pilot agencies. We will now move on to the Mentor of the Month. Take it away, Heidi.
Hey, thanks, Ross. Good morning, everybody. This is Heidi. Mary Friesen from Stevens County is our SSIS Mentor of the Month. Per Jenny Rose, Stevens County Social Services Supervisor, Mary is an incredibly knowledgeable resource and a constant source of support for anyone in our agency who has questions or needs assistance. She goes above and beyond to find solutions to problems, helps individuals implement those solutions, and remains dedicated until the issue is fully resolved. So thank you and congratulations, Mary. We appreciate you very, very much. And if you have a special SSIS coordinator or mentor who you'd like to recognize or have us recognize as an Mentor of the Month, please feel free to shoot me a message, and we'll add them to the list. So anyway, I thank you all, and Ross, I'm going to pass it back to you, hoping everybody has a good day.
Thanks, Heidi. Congratulations, Mary. Next up, we have some updates, and we'll start out with Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Ross, and congratulations, Mary. We're so thankful for what you do all day, every day. We're thrilled to recognize you and continue to work with you. Thank you so very much. I wanted to just give a very brief update on our work that has been going on related to the paperwork reduction that got passed a few years ago. How that work is kind of rolling over into some pre-modernization efforts. So we're at a point where most of the recommendations we have determined either we're implementing them, doing those changes, or there are items that we are not able to do in our current system, and we'll have to wait for modernization to determine how we're going to make some updates and modernization updates for whatever SSIS looks like in the future. However, we are also looking at not adding more to SSIS, but looking at potential spots where we can add some additional value and ease the pain a little bit for folks while we are waiting for the second part of the 2023 legislative session requirements, which is a comprehensive assessment on the current state of SSIS, and which includes a feasibility study and alternatives analysis, and will end in a recommendation for how we should modernize SSIS, what platform, and a roadmap for how to do that. So while we are waiting for our vendor to be, the contract with our vendor to be fully executed, we have been working on some additional activities that I just wanted to highlight. My hope is folks are sick of hearing about this. Two things. One, of course, out-of-home placement plan work that folks are aware of. And we will be, I mentioned this because we will be having additional communications on our engagement HQ coming soon to a computer near you. And we also have a lot of work done on our time entry transformation. And this is, again, an effort to really ease the pain a little bit. We are developing a mobile responsive way for folks to enter their time, contact activities into SSIS. So I'll add some links in to the chat for everybody. And if you haven't taken a look at those, I really encourage everybody to sign up for our Gov deliveries and to look at our engagement HQ. We have several opportunities for folks to give us feedback. Right now we have two surveys. One is about mobile devices at agencies, and the other one is really about time and activities, how they're currently entered, and how we want to look at that for the future with this responsive mobile app that we're developing. So I will add those things to the chat right now. And the last thing I want to leave folks with is that as we move forward, we will have many, many opportunities, and we'll be communicating out and with people for input and feedback throughout the duration of this assessment of SSIS. We're really looking for partnership, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word, partnership, for co-creating and being a part of that assessment of our current state and what our future state is going to look like. We have a lot of unknowns. We don't have a budget yet, and that's pretty important. But we are really excited and looking forward to this. And I just want to say thanks to everybody here, because we know that you guys are just instrumental in keeping things going on the day-to-day, but also are really our key experts for information and creative ideas for what's necessary and what's going to be helpful to have a functioning information system going forward. So if folks have questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me for anything, anytime. And if you can't remember, or for any reason, if you ever need anything, always reach out to Help Desk. Cassie and Luann and everybody are able to get things where they need to go pretty much immediately. So thank you guys so much. If you have questions, I will be sticking around.
Great. Thanks for that update, Cynthia. Next up, I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Eric Kratt.
Well, good morning, everybody. Eric here for an update on the SSIS Agency Training Sandbox. I just want to give a shout out to Renetta Walk for her thoughtful work on this project. It's been kind of an interesting journey to navigate through all of the changes with the platforms that we use to access SSIS. So as mentioned in last month's Coffee Talk, the Learning and Development team and the Help Desk team are going to team up to offer SSIS Agency Training Sandbox access training sessions for mentors and coordinators in agencies without a county test environment. The counties with test environments, to my knowledge, are Dakota, Ramsey, Hennepin, Anoka, and Wright. So if you're not a mentor or a coordinator in any one of those agencies, you're eligible for this training. The objective of the training is to provide an overview of the mentor coordinator role and responsibilities, to provide an overview of the role and responsibilities of the SSIS Tier 1 Help Desk for this process, understand the process to request, remove, or update access to the training sandbox, learn how to complete the SSIS training sandbox request form, review the availability of technical support, and identify the limitations in the SSIS training sandbox as well, because unfortunately there are some limitations to what individuals will be able to do, but we do want to offer this sandbox to agencies to play around with data outside of production and do a whole slew of things. So on the right-hand side of this slide is an image taken from our engagement and information page, which is our main SSIS engagement HQ site. The link to that site is on this slide as well. If you want to navigate there and sign up for any one of these 4 trainings that are coming up, feel free to do so, and I'll be excited to see you there. Back to you, Ross.
Thanks, Eric. Ooh, the sandbox. Sounds fun. Let's get messy. So we're at the time where we can get started on the release information. So to start us out, I think, but I'm not 100% sure, we have Cassie.
Thanks, Ross. All right, starting out, we have some issues that have been resolved. Starting off in admin, I think we will have quite a few that are probably pretty excited about this. I see Joanne reacting already. Great news for mentors who set up users. I know that many of you have been hoping for this fix for quite some time. So the issue of receiving the error message of record not found or changed by another user when saving while creating or updating a user's profile in admin has been corrected. So you'll see on the screen the error message that you previously received that has been fixed. Yay! I see all the reactions. I would be excited about that as well. It's super annoying. All right, on to the next slide. Another fix. Oh, sorry, back one. There we go. Another fix. Not as many people probably see this, but when a worker changes their password and then selects SSIS worker, admin, or repository from the tools main menu after the password change, they were previously getting the invalid user ID or password warning. You will no longer see that error message when the screen opens up. So that has also been corrected. I know that's been annoying for some users as well. So got a couple defects that have been corrected, which is exciting. So yay! We're gonna pass it on to Allie next.
Thanks, Cassie. Good morning, everyone. My name is Allie Tesmer, and I'm a subject matter expert with the Business Operations Unit. And today I'm just going to talk about the defect on the education screen that's been resolved. So prior to the 25.2 statewide release, the highest level of education completed field had been defaulting to none completed if workers attempted to set the grade as kindergarten or first grade. This is no longer an issue as the full list of education levels are now available, including the option none completed. And Cassie, I will pass it back to you.
Thanks, Allie. All right, we have another defect resolved. And once again, we have that defect displayed on what it was. Once again, users will be able to filter the chronology summary report by staff, and the results will display as expected. So the printed chronology summary report will correctly display the relevant chronology records for staff when you filter by the staff column. So that screenshot is what the defect was showing before. And so you'll be able to see the results as expected, which will be very nice. And then on the next slide. So a defect had been identified where the last edit date and finalized date would change if the editor was opened to review an already finalized time record, as reflected in the example in the screenshot on the screen. This defect has been resolved and these dates will no longer adjust when the time records are open in the expanded editor. So that's also been resolved. I like seeing those resolved defects. All right, any questions? I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. Looks like Jeanette got changed by another user error earlier today. If you want to send that into the help desk, go ahead and send that in. And registration for the May 27th training for the sandbox does not work. Does that mean it's full? Eric, do you want to maybe take a look at that?
I'm not sure why WebEx is doing that. I did fix the links yesterday because I was also getting a 404 error on the first one. So I'll see what I can do. Thank you.
All right. I think that's it for chat.
So we'll get going with the rest of it. Here's Miss Anna.
Thanks, Ross. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Chalupka. I'm one of the SSIS trainer, and I'm going to talk about the SSIS adult protection updates. On this first slide, an issue has been resolved. The issue is when a user enters an invalid report date and date on the adult maltreatment report tab, they are unable to correct the date directly. Instead, they must either cancel their changes or refresh the page without saving in order to enter a valid date. So again, the issue has been resolved. Users can now enter a new date without needing to cancel the changes or refresh the page without saving. Okay, next slide. The next slide is regarding the victim information tab in the AMR. So the facility provider information section titled resident of facility and non-residential license services. Those two radio buttons are no longer required to be completed. Next slide. And then also in the same screen, and these are regarding the categorical and functional radio buttons. They have been removed from both the victim information tab and also in the printed maltreatment reports. So the screenshot on the left shows the victim information tab as it appears before version 25.2. While the screenshot on the right displays the updated version of the screen. That those two radio buttons have been removed. So if you have any questions, and any policy questions regarding behind these changes, please contact the Adult Protection Policy team. And this is their contact information, phone number, and email, and that's their general contact information. Thank you.
Next up, Erica with CMR.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't sure if we wanted to wait for questions, if there were any questions for that.
I think that was more of an informational. This is how you get answers to your questions rather than we're stopping for questions.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I am Erica Peterson. I'm a child welfare subject matter expert. I'm here to give some updates surrounding child safety and permanency in SSIS. So first up is the child maltreatment report. There have been some changes to the allegations tab of the CMR. Injury to the buttocks of a child under age 3 and injury to the face, head, back, or abdomen of a child under age 6 have been added to the allegation details under physical abuse. The language has been changed for shaking a child under 3 as well. These changes were made to better align with the child maltreatment intake screening and response path guidelines. Also, there's an issue that was resolved. The quick add allegations, right-click tree view menu option is now correctly enabled and disabled. It is now in sync with the action menus, both the lightning bolt at the top of the screen and the action menu button at the bottom of the screen. Go to the next slide. Next up is labor trafficking updates. So currently there's no statutory authority to respond to reports of labor trafficking before July 1st, 2025. Agencies should continue to enter child maltreatment reports of suspected labor trafficking or labor exploitation based off of other allegations and concerns that are being reported. Effective July 1st, local agencies should use labor trafficking and labor exploitation allegations for reports regarding labor trafficking and exploitation. Again, the labor trafficking changes that we discussed today will not be available in SSIS until they go into effect on July 1st. The allegation of labor trafficking has been added to both the allegations tab of the CMR as well as the quick add option. Labor trafficking includes the allegation details of labor trafficking and labor exploitation. A new labor traffickers option has also been added to the non-caregiver traffickers drop-down field. I would like to note that if the first allegation added to the intake CMR is sex trafficking or labor trafficking, the non-caregiver traffickers field will be required to be updated before other fields become editable. The following general reports under child maltreatment and intake have been updated to include labor trafficking and the NCA track when applicable. Child maltreatment assessment detail, maltreatment allegation summary, intake allegations CP track, and child maltreatment summaries for facility investigations, family assessments, family investigations, and non-caregiver trafficking assessments have all been updated. The non-caregiver traffickers help text has also been updated to add information about labor trafficking. There will be an updated job aid and a bulletin, which will both be made available closer to July 1st. We can go to the next slide. So we have some changes on placement setting and reasons. The following recent quality assurance reviews of SSIS placement data, it was observed that the reason safety and stability was frequently being used as a general or catch-all reason. In several instances, the designation did not appropriately align with the specific type of placement setting or the actual circumstances surrounding the youth's placement. As this represents a data integrity concern, revisions have been made to better align placement reason codes with the placement settings, particularly for residential programs, juvenile correctional facilities, and group homes. Note the additional changes to these 3 settings. Additionally, the use of respite was found to be inconsistent with policy expectations. It is important to note that respite care is not considered a foster care placement, and it must have a clearly identified return date to the child's home or foster care setting. With this release, respite is no longer an available placement reason for the following settings. So it won't be available any longer for foster family homes, group homes that are staff operated, and then residential treatment programs. Respite is now only permitted in conjunction with the authorized temporary location setting. When this is used during a continuous placement, there must be an active placement to which the child or youth is expected to return. These updates are intended to enhance data accuracy and ensure consistent documentation practices across all placement settings. To the next slide. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families will now use the term missing instead of runaway to describe a child's status. This change avoids assumptions about the reasons for their absence, which may not be relevant and can lead to biased views about their experiences, their safety, or their willingness to return. Changes have been made in SSIS to reflect this. These reasons were removed from unauthorized absence setting and are replaced with the following reasons. So, able to be located on approved setting. You'll select this reason when a child or youth is in an unauthorized setting, but the agency knows where they are and continues to meet with them monthly. Absent and unable to be located other. Select this reason when the child or youth leaves the home or facility where the child or youth was placed without authorization. This reason requires a missing from care debriefing form upon return. The next new reason is absent and unable to be located, runaway. This option would be selected when a child or youth is absent from the home or facility where they were placed, unable to be located, and the agency does not believe they ran away. This reason also requires a debriefing form upon return. I'm sorry, I believe that should say the agency does believe that they ran away. For more information about that, visit the Children and Youth Missing from Foster Care DCYF Bulletin. I briefly mentioned the missing episode debriefing form. So this document has been introduced and is replacing the runaway debriefing form. This updated document does not utilize a local agency RTF header. The existing runaway debriefing forms will remain editable while in draft status. The new form can be found in Documents under the Chronology folder. When a child or youth is located/returned to foster care after a missing episode or is discharged while still missing from care, the agency must complete the missing episode debriefing form. This is required for all children and youth in foster care, including youth in ages 18 up to 21 in extended foster care. If the youth is discharged, agencies must provide a brief summary in the "How was the child or youth located or returned to care" section. Also note that the question previously titled "Runaway Debriefing Form Completed" on the placement location absence screen has now been revised to say "Missing Episode Debriefing Completed" to reflect that updated terminology. This question is required to be answered upon ending an unauthorized absence in SSIS when the absence reasons are absent and unable to locate other, and absent and unable to be located runaway. Next up is QRTP. So the potential specialized setting certification for qualified residential treatment programs has been updated. It no longer calculates based off of the placement setting and reason combination. It will now calculate based off a new question on the placement screen. Is the BizOrg provider certified to provide QRTP services? Answering yes to this question will activate QRTP required data cleanup messages, alerts and reminders, and Title 4E claiming elements. If the provider is QRTP certified, workers must ensure they're completing the QRTP requirements and documenting these in SSIS. The question must be answered when workers enter a setting of a residential program or group home staff operated, and the placement reason is one of the following. Either corrections, evaluation, shelter, treatment for chemical dependency, or treatment for severe emotional disturbance, or treatment and services for developmental disabilities. To determine what services are considered QRTP certified services, workers should use the Department of Human Services licensing information lookup, which lists the provider's specific services and/or ask the provider's admission or intake staff. A few more QRTP updates. The warning message on the QRTP extended placement review screen for when the BizOrg associated with the placement doesn't have an associated Lindex, or the Lindex had expired on or before the placement start date, has been updated to read, warning, the BizOrg provider either does not have an associated Lindex license or all associated licenses expired on or before the placement start date. This will prevent the system from calculating QRTP extended placement review timelines and will block the Title 4E claiming. Also ensure the Lindex license is added to the BizOrg. Further, the QRTP EPR approval defect has been resolved. The action menu item approve is correctly enabled now for QRTP extended placement reviews. Workers and agencies should now be able to approve their EPRs in SSIS. A quick little update about the SDM safety tool. So the safety assessment was previously updated in the 25.1 release. It has been updated again to change some verbiage. The language changes consist of replacing non-offending caregiver with caregiver who is not causing harm. And the help text on item 8 of the safety factors tab has been updated to remove a grammar error. And the last one final update from me is that the CWTCM service plan label now correctly displays parent legal guardian information instead of family members when printed. I think that this will be a good place to stop for any questions.
All right. So, Joanne, I will come back to your question about the access violation. First, we did have a question about what will happen to placements that currently use removed options.
I do not have an answer for that right now, but I will get it and I can put it in the chat before we're done.
Okay. And then there was another question. When will the child maltreatment guidelines be updated? Also, when is this release? There was an answer. The child maltreatment screening guidelines will be updated in the fall. And when is this release? As in, when is this statewide release? It is tomorrow at 6 p.m. So regarding the access violation in the expanded editor, that is not in the release notes because it is partially fixed. I'm going to make sure I speak properly on this. So it is fixed as in you can use the expanded editor and you will not receive an access violation any longer. But it is not fully fixed because when you save, you have to, I believe you have to save and then click twice. It's an extra keystroke to exit, I believe is what it is. So that's, I believe it's scheduled next 25.3 to correct that. So that's why it's not in the release notes, but the access violation should be gone and has been gone in testing for pilot. So that is great news. But it was not in the release notes due to that. So yay, surprise. Any other questions before we move on? Good deal.
Next up will be Allie.
Thanks, Ross. All right, so we're going to move into repository additions and updates for the 25.2 release. The following errors have been updated or added to fulfill AFCAR's 2020 requirements. Error number 4020 is it now requires placement dates to fall within the date range of the continuous placement. The placement setting foster family home kin has been added to the list of eligible placement settings. And then there was an update to error number 4056 that will appear when a continuous placement is open or closed within the past 370 days, and the relationship is adoptive parent, birth parent, or legal guardian, and the parent or guardian's age is outside the acceptable age range, over 100 years old or under 10 years old as of the child's birth date or estimated birth date. And then a new addition in the 25.2 update is error number 4150, and this is regarding the missing foster parent entry. And this error will display if the child, if the foster parent relationship is missing for one or both foster parents on the placement. This will also show up if there's a single foster parent noted in the BizOrg family structure and no foster parents are entered on the placement. If there should be two and there isn't, this will indicate if one or more foster parents are missing and uses the BizOrg family structure field to know how many to look for. All right, so on this next slide, I just noted for error number 4020, if you see this error on your repository list, you can take the following steps to resolve it. You go to the BizOrg provider on the placement screen, then go to the individual provider list under foster parents tab, and ensure that you have the Hispanic heritage dropdown completed on the person screen for each of the foster parents listed. And then for the update for error 4056, you are going to want to make sure that you check the estimated age or date of birth for the parents or guardians listed in the relationship folder for the child. All right, and then for the new error, how to fix this, we're going to want to make sure to ensure that the number of foster parents listed on the foster parent tab in the continuous placement screen match what is indicated on the family structured field of the BizOrg and provider. If either married couple or non-married couple is selected, then they must have two foster parents listed. The system uses the foster care daycare provider family structure field to determine if there should be one or more foster parents. If it says there should be two and one is missing, but the user knows there really is only one, you can correct the family structure field if needed. And then questions here, I'm just looking in the chat. Yes, Aaron, I see your question about updating the AFCARs and repository documents for our SSIS worker documentation page. And we are very close to publishing those documents, hopefully within the next week or two. So stay tuned for updates for that. We'll bring that information to the SSIS update document that goes out to mentors and coordinators. And then we'll also be providing a list of our recently updated worker and fiscal documentation at one of our upcoming Thursday open discussions. So keep an eye and ears out for that. And I think we're passing it to, looks like Holly.
Good morning, this is Holly Reller. I'm an SSIS fiscal subject matter expert with SSIS Business Operations. SSIS has been updated with the new North Star Care for Children basic and supplemental payment rates for children in foster care effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. You can now create service arrangements with effective date July 1, 2025 and later.
Excuse me, Holly, we are having
Yes.
a really hard time hearing you.
Oh, okay.
That's better. You're already better.
Okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Can you start over, please? Sorry.
Sure. SSIS has been updated with the new North Star Care for Children basic and supplemental payment rates for children in foster care effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. You can now create service arrangements with effective date July 1, 2025 and later. We have posted an updated job aid on the SSIS fiscal documentation page with the new rates in an easy to see table form. You should be able to follow the link on this slide to find that job aid. We have a new state report coming out in this release, the Prevention Services State Report. Agencies will be required to submit it quarterly to claim their Title IV reimbursement for prevention services under the Family First Prevention Services Act. The report streamlines the claims process by generating claims from time records using Service 103 Prevention Services and Subservice 400 for motivational interviewing, and from payments using Service 103 Prevention Services and Subservice 401 for parents as teachers. The Prevention Services State Report includes payment and time proofing tabs, which help identify errors that need to be resolved to claim the 4E reimbursement. All agencies are required to submit the Prevention Services State Report every quarter, even if they have no prevention services claims. Agencies should start with their Quarter 4 2024 report first, as claiming for prevention services started October 1, 2024. Like the other state reports in SSIS, workers that need access to the new Prevention Services State Report will need their role updated in SSIS admin and the required functions added. Giving someone the role of fiscal default activities allows them to view the report but not make any edits or changes. Additionally, 2 new functions have been added to SSIS specific to this report. Each agency will need to determine which workers should have their roles updated and can assign the new functions as needed. Create Prevention Services State Report gives users with this function the ability to create, edit, delete, generate, and finalize the Prevention Services State Report. Submit Prevention Services State Report gives users with this function the ability to submit a Prevention Services State Report to DCYF Financial Operations Division. Please keep in mind that your agency should adhere to good accounting practices when assigning these roles, including consulting your auditors on internal controls and separation of duties. Every agency and initiative tribe will need to add their motivational interviewing rate into SSIS admin if they haven't already done so. In SSIS admin, go to Tools, County Preferences, Agency Rates. Go to the action menu and add new agency rate. It will autofill at this time with 103 Prevention Services. You must select 400 motivational interviewing from the county subservice dropdown. Then enter the rate for your agency that can be found on Partner Link under Fiscal Reporting and Accounting, Family First Prevention Services Act. Initiative tribes are not on the published list and have been notified of their rate directly by memo from DCYF. On June 10th at 9 a.m., DCYF will be hosting a webinar to review the new Prevention Services State Report and how to submit it to the state. This training is intended for those staff and workers who will be responsible for generating the report, working on the errors, and finalizing and submitting it to the state. Included in this training will be guidance on which quarter to start with on your Prevention Services State Report and how we want submissions done to get everyone up to date. To register for this webinar, click on the link provided, and we look forward to seeing you on June 10th. In this release, we have 2 child foster care report defects that have been resolved. The child foster care report proofing message 1285 was updated to correctly allow claiming when the QRTP assessment is completed on or before the 30th day after the QRTP placement start date. The child foster care report child counts line B, 4E eligible child, SSI and relative license pending was updated to include children in placements with the setting type of foster family home kin when applicable. I will now pass it to Carrie.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kaiser, a SSIS fiscal subject matter expert and trainer. So on the state Seeger report, the revenue descriptions have changed on the following. Most are just changing from other DHS approved to other DHS DCYF approved. There are a few other lines listed that have changed to better fit the revenue code descriptions. SSIS has added KK as a major program for CWTCM claiming effective 1/1/25. SSIS is now programmed for major programs for MA, NM, KK, and LL to claim CWTCM as of SSIS release 25.2. The clearing issue with the null gender fields have been resolved. Min Choice's revision has discontinued their practice of sending gender codes with the null gender field to Swindex. These gender fields will now contain a U for unknown. MMIS does accept the U gender value and will process healthcare claims without triggering a transmission error. And lastly, I just wanted to send a reminder to our fiscal folks that there is another CWTCM healthcare claiming training coming up on June 17th. We have also added 2 new dates, September 16th and December 9th. This is a repeat training and it is now offered quarterly. These training sessions focus on the fiscal side of CWTCM and healthcare claiming in SSIS. You can click on the link to register for the session that works with your schedule. We also have these training links, registrations on SSIS engagement and information site and are included in the SSIS updates. Please help spread the word and let your fiscal staff know. Are there any questions?
It looks like we don't have any questions, but I did want to give an update. Erica was able to look into the changes to placement settings and reasons for those of the for those people that don't see it in the chat. The changes will not impact any current placement settings or reasons. It will only impact what options are available moving forward. And the null error takes effect tomorrow.
No, it's already taken effect. It wasn't release dependent.
Okay. Looks like someone tried clearing this morning some of their clients and got the error.
You wouldn't get that error. It would be when you submitted your healthcare claims. Terry, if you could you please send in a ticket on that?
Looks like she will. Perfect.
All right, thanks for answering those questions. We're going to move on now back to Eric. you're up.
And as a reminder to folks, we have resources available in several places on the World Wide Web. What you're looking at right now is the SSIS homepage with a link. And then up at the top left of this screen is the link to our SSIS engagement and information site. Next slide. And this is also a link to our engagement and information site. As described in previous coffee talks, we have access to training links, access to information about the help desk, etc. And in the future, we're looking forward to interacting virtually with our mentor coordinator population through a variety of methods, including idea boards and forums. Anna Chalupka has been busy plugging these documents. What we're doing is we're creating links to certain sections of Coffee Talks so that people don't have to watch the whole Coffee Talk to find the one nugget of information that they're looking for. So these PDFs will be attached on the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy website. Underneath each one of the Coffee Talks, we're kind of on a slow release with these right now and getting them done in between other projects. So we will be adding those over time. So thank you to Anna Chalupka for her diligence in putting these together. Still me, Ross? Okay. For
Nope.
more information related to the Coffee Talk, please reach out to the SSIS Help Desk if you're a mentor coordinator or SSIS supervisor. And again, to view previous SSIS Coffee Talk and webinar recordings, please visit our website affiliated with the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy.
Note to self, if you follow Eric, make sure that you find your mute bucket button quickly. Otherwise, he'll just take over. Thanks, Eric.
That's what I do.
All right. Next coffee talk. Hey, our next coffee talk is June 24th, which is again a Tuesday, and from 9 to 10:30 a.m. So there's a registration to go ahead and get registered for that. It's in the should be in the chat, and we hope to see you in the next coffee talk. So if there's no other questions or no other information needed on this particular coffee talk, I think I'm going to close us out by thanking you all for by joining us this morning and spending some time with us. We appreciate all you do, and stay golden, Minnesota. Radio Ross out. Are we staying on?
Just for a couple minutes to see if there's any lingering questions.
Okay. Here's something for Cassie.
Thanks, Ross.
Here's something for Marcia. Here's something for Eric.
Thank you. I think
Put the
I think
turtle.
we're good now.
Wonderful.
It's easy. Good job.
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.